Day 3 and it's come down pretty hard. Hope you enjoyed the video. Stay tuned afterwards for a gear rundown and a food list. Happy New Year's, YouTubers. I am driving here to Pennsylvania. I feel like I've gotten kind of out of shape and lazy here during the holiday season, so I'm going to go backpack the Allegheny Front Trail in Pennsylvania. I'm going to make it a 48-mile loop, and it should be good. We're here to Black Moshing State Park. Parked in the parking lot, and I'm going to head down this trail about 3.5 miles, and then we'll meet up with the AFT, and I'll start heading east. About 1.5 miles into my journey, here's a lot what the terrain looks like. Hardwoods up on the hill, and then a stark difference on the other side. The river's like 30 yards that way. It's a lot of rhododendron and a lot of hemlock. This is pretty cool. This is a lot like what the trail looks like down by the river. You got the river, you got some pine, and a bunch of rhododendron, and it's pretty cool. Now walking through this, definitely way different than any environment I've been in before. 2:30, I've made some progress. The trail is this orange line, and it makes a giant circle that comes all the way down and comes back up and around to here. And then this blue line intersection goes right down the middle. So what I did is I parked here, and I'm walking up this Shinrock Trail, and I cross that road. I should be right about here. And so next, I'm going to come up here, take a right, so I'm heading east on the trail itself. Hopefully maybe camp down in here. My original plan was to get over to here, but I don't know if I can do that because I got a bit later start than what I wanted. Then tomorrow I'm going to come down this way. So I've reached the intersection point that I was talking about. There's a little trail notes box there. That way heads to the west. That's where I'll be returning on. This heads to the east, and that's where I just came from. South goes back to the car. About a 1/2 mile east of that intersection with Shinrock Trail and the AFT going east. This is a lot like what the campsites seems like are probably going to be on this trip. Little flat areas right next to the river, which is super pretty, but it's definitely going to get cold down in here. I prefer being up on the hill, but it's just choked with all kinds of brush. This is way cool. Don't have anything like this in Ohio. Just rhododendron everywhere. Some of these plants are 20 feet tall. It's actually kind of claustrophobic. Made it to the intersection at Rock Run here. Came from that way. Trail heads this way. Man, I got turned around. When I came over that bridge, it looks like the trail goes that way, but it just turns into a mess. It actually comes this side of the house and goes up this way. So right here is where I hit that mailbox. There's a campsite or two here. The little house is there where that yellow line is. I've come all the way down here. These two campsites weren't the best. And so what I'm going to do is, this looks like it heads up this contour line. I got enough water, I can either camp out somewhere up here or on the other side, which is going to be in the hardwoods. Getting a good little climb in here. River's down that way, headed uphill. It's really tricky to find a camping spot. Everything is just pure rock around here. About 4:30. I probably got about half an hour left of daylight, maybe a little bit more. My plan of come up to the top of the hill and there should be room in the hardwoods was a little incorrect. This is the most tangled brush I've ever seen. So I guess I'll just keep pushing on, hopefully find a little open area. It's about 4:50, sunlight's fading fast. This is the best thing I found for a campsite. There's just so thick a brush around here, it's hard to do anything. Looks like someone's camped here before. There's a little fire ring. There's a ton of dead trees too, so it's really hard to find a safe spot that's flat and doesn't have some giant dead tree. So there's one dead one right there, but this is honestly the only spot I found that's even semi-flat. So set up the Shangri-La and get some dinner going. Made it to the camp, got things set up, just reviewing maps, let my food rehydrate. Here's where I crossed that little bridge, started going uphill here, and I think I'm camped out right where this letter A is. I had originally wanted to try to get over to here. That would have been 10 miles, looks like there's a camp, but I'll get there in the morning. I'll start out early, get down here, refill water, and then book it down this way. Got a oldie but goodie for dinner tonight. Green beans, brown rice, and some ground beef. And I got some salt, pepper, the powdered barbecue stuff, and some butter. Should do good. Frick starving. It's 7:30. I'm about ready to go to bed. There's not much else to do. I got into camp too late to really set up a fire, and it's pretty windy out there anyways. So far the trail's pretty cool. I covered about 8.5 miles today. It's definitely a different environment than what I've hiked in before, just because of all the rhododendron. That's kind of cool looking. So hopefully I'll get up tomorrow around 7, get a really good night's sleep in tonight, and then hit the trail early tomorrow. Morning, it's 7 o'clock. I slept pretty good. It was super windy. It's like 15-20 mile an hour winds outside. It's right now about 24 degrees out, so go get packed up in here, eat some breakfast, hit the trail. Got everything packed up. It's about 7:40, and we're gonna hit the trail. I got anywhere between 15 to 18 miles today, depending on where I figure out to camp and how much sunlight I got. I've gone maybe like a mile and a half, and definitely starting to warm up. Got some heat going. Strip off 2 layers here. It's amazing how you keep going. It doesn't take too much to get a little bit on the warm side. Take off this little thermal vest I like. Definitely keep the wind shirt on because it is windy out here. Very different than what I've been walking in. It's a lot more open here. Nice and windy. Looks like all this area has been really logged. Making progress. Here's where all the logged out area was. Now I'm coming down this way, down these contour lines, and I'm guessing there's a stream down this way. There's a lot of campsites down here. So making progress. So here's the trail from where I just showed on the map. The yellow is the AFT, and the blue is like a ski trail. Pretty nice area, wide open, hasn't been logged anytime recently. Pretty cool. So I reached the campsite right there where it says 10.36, so that's how far I've gone. There's a little bridge there where that blue line is. It goes off with the ski trail. But this campsite's pretty nice to show you. So here's the campsite. This is the one I wanted to try to get to last night, but kind of ran out of time. It's about 9 o'clock right now. I'm going to fill up some water. I'm down to about ½ liter, and then press on. Making progress. Super nice trail. You can see it's well marked. Definitely not going to get lost around here. There is a ton of oak firewood around here. I really wish I had a big axe right now so I could play with it, but it's a backpacking trip, so no axes. Making progress. I'm on that blue line right there, which is Upper Rock Run Trail. So I've done 12.3 miles total now. Wish I would have been a little bit further, but the trail heads off that way. And here we go. Quick note on trail markers. The trail is blazed in yellow, but some spots are orange. I read in the guidebook that the orange was the old, the yellow is the new. So the yellow is pretty fresh and they're easy to find, but you may run into some old oranges too. Heading southbound on the trail, about a quarter mile from Road 504 on the east side, and this would be a great area to camp. Right down the bottom of this hill there's a lot of white pine, tons of cover from wind, and then another few hundred yards past that there's a little stream. And you got all this hardwood right here, so this would be a great place to camp out. Just crossed over 504 heading south, and pretty cool view. Another problem is now I've been going down this logging road, it's really steep. And it looks like the path goes straight back up the hill now. Here we go. Up, up, up and away. Making progress. Just came up that hill. It was probably a good half mile of just up little switchbacks, and I am pretty sweaty right now, but awesome view. So here's the view from Ralph's pretty good site. Pretty good view. Oh, this is freaking rough. I'm getting really tired. It's almost like 2 o'clock. I need to eat some lunch. I'm in this super windy spot though. It's all logged out, so I gotta get past this and set up a brake station. So over here is all the lookouts I was on. Came down this way, across this road. Here's where all the logged out section was. I just crossed this road, and I'm like right here, getting some water. And then what I have is I got about 3.3 miles to here, and then my camp is down this way. It's about another 1.5 miles. Right now it's like 2:40. So if I kind of book it, I should be able to get there by 5. Set up, and I'm heading to bed early. I'm freaking tired. Making progress just past Julia Pike Road. That has me a little worried. Hopefully I'm not walking through water the whole way. This is cool. I feel like I'm in Jurassic Park with all this moss and plants growing up everywhere. Pretty cool, making progress on the trail. The lake's behind me over there. I'm walking through a bunch of hemlocks and hardwoods, but this trail's a complete joy. This is well marked, well maintained. It's not muddy right now, everything's frozen. Otherwise this would be a mess if it was in spring. Pretty cool view. Well, I've made as far as I want to go tonight. Not quite as far as what I originally planned, but I just got to make up 3-4 miles in the morning. Which I'm just going to get up nice and super early, probably like 6:30. I think I'll be on trail before 7. I was thinking about doing a fire, but all this pine and it's probably a little not safe, so I'm going to run the twig stove. I should be able to warm up my hands, get dinner going. Might even provide enough warmth to dry out a few pieces of clothing I have. Got camp starting to get set up. One of the first things I like to do is take my bag, set it up, lay it out, and kind of shake it up. It gets the down kind of shifted around if it got clumpy during the night, and then it starts getting dried out. I also try to take into account which way the ground's sloping, so I always like to have my head higher than my feet. It's kind of uncomfortable if you do it the other way, so the feet are up just a little bit, but my head's higher. And then the way I've got this position in here is if I open the door and it's pouring rain, the rain's coming straight down, it's probably not going to get anything wet there. Got my little station set up. I use this down log, cut some of the limbs off. I'll use that for fire my twig stove. Got the little chunks on the bottom and the twigs up top. So I'm going to use the kind of cheater method to get this thing going and use the Vaseline cotton ball deck lighter. Well, maybe. There we go. And dinner is ready. Got the mac and cheese and some random hot dogs out of the refrigerator. Well, I've had my dinner, getting situated for bed now. I got the food hung up, just reviewing maps. I came down this way, that's where I saw the lake, and then I'm camped out almost right at this little orange point. I'm real close to this road, and if you look over here, right here's that same point. I had wanted to come down and try to camp at one of these, but those are about 4.5 miles away. So tomorrow I'm going to have to make up some time, 4.5 plus another about 11 to get way up into here. That'll put me at about a 15-16 mile day, and then I'll have about 10 miles back to the car Sunday morning. Good morning. It's about low 20s inside the tent here, and it's significantly colder outside. There's a good breeze coming through. I was able to get radar or cell phone reception for just a minute and check the weather forecast. Doesn't look good. It looks like it's supposed to get up to like 32 today, and there's a rain sleet mixture on its way. So it should be a lot of fun hiking. I'm going to keep the Gore-Tex near the top of the pack today. Don't know if you can hear it right now, but it's freezing rain pretty good, and the big open field over there, the wind's just kicking up, blowing right at me. So I guess I'll keep going for now. Yay, backpacking in the rain. About 8:30 and I've done a little pile over 2 miles. It's continuing to freezing rain. It's starting to build up some accumulation on the ground. So lots of fun. Hopefully you can hear me over the wind. It's seriously coming down now. Woo, buddy. Alright, well, I'm making progress. Come down this trail here, and I'm heading up this way. It's still windy as ever, and the hailing has not stopped at all. I got a ways to go. Reach these little rocky outcroppings, and it's getting a little treacherous here. That ice on the roots and the rocks is a little slippy. Gotta be real careful. Walking back on the 6 mile road, try to get to 504 to the car, and it's super windy. Consistent 10 to 15 mile an hour winds, up to 25. And then, whew, it's freezing rain just non-stop. I'm pretty wet right now. Oh my goodness, I can see the truck. I see like 8 miles by road. Booked it here. Everything is frozen. I am like one giant ice sheet. I think it was a very wise decision to call it early. You know, I could have probably pushed on and maybe made it, but I would have woke up and trails would have been just downright dangerous. And this is the perfect recipe for hypothermia. It's like 30 degrees out and it's like sleet rain. So anyways, off to get some food now. Check out the video afterwards. I'll go over the food I brought and the gear I brought also. Thanks for watching. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed the trail part of the video. I'm pretty glad I pulled the plug on this one and decided to head home a little early. I was going to stay one more night, but the rain just continued to intensify. I drove home, it was another 6 hours of rain and sleet and snow, and it would have been just miserable. If I was with a buddy, you know, you're able to do stuff and hang out and stuff, but by yourself sitting in a tent in the middle of the woods, freezing cold rain's not much fun. And plus, I trust my gear. I would have been fine as far as hypothermia and stuff, but no reason to risk it. It wasn't going to be any kind of fun. So I've been getting some requests on my videos to go over what kind of kit and gear I bring into the woods, so I'm going to do a little review about that stuff and then talk about a little bit about food and the trail itself. So the most important piece of gear is the gear I don't bring with me. That is a game plan. So before I leave, I always leave a plan, kind of a pre-done format. I leave it with some relatives and say where I'm going to be, how long I'm going to be gone for, where I'm staying, where I'm going to park, all kind of critical information they need to know. And then this time I also emailed the park a itinerary of where I was going to be, where I was going to stay, emergency contact, my vehicle, that kind of stuff. So with that said, let's take a look at some of the clothes that I wore most of the time. So starting with the clothes that I wore probably 90% of the time, let's start at the bottom. I wore these Salomon X Ultra. They're like a trail running type of shoe, have great tread. I talk about it in my footwear video. Wore the Simply Bliss Levia Gators, kept the crud out of my shoes. And then I also wore these a little bit heavier duty than what I typically wear. These are the Defeat Woolly Bully socks. So they're kind of like a medium weight hiking sock. It was going to be a little colder. If there was any kind of heavy snow, or if it was going to be consistently in the teens or below, definitely would have looked into boots. But all the mud's frozen this time of year, all the water's frozen. The feet were fine, even when it was raining. They seemed to do okay. So trail runners, I really kind of pushed them for myself down into, to the 20s range. It seemed to work out okay. So if it was any colder though, I would have had boots. On my legs, I had this pair of Arc'teryx. These are lightweight softshell pants. I think this is the Gamma LT. Really nice pair of pants. Worked great. First time I've used them on like a long range journey. They got a little bit of stretch to them. They got a nice zippered pocket here on the hip section. That's where I get my map in all the time, so it's easy to pull in, pull out, and I can see where I was at. Real nice, lightweight, breathable, a little bit more wind resistant than like a pair of hiking pants, but they seem to work out really well. I didn't wear Under Armour boxers, don't have those here. And then on my top, this is a top I've had for a long time. It's the Ibex Indie hoodie. It's a base layer shirt. It's got a nice little hood to it. It's got a zip. It's real breathable. I don't know if I fully believe the whole merino wool not smelling bad, because that needs a wash. Next up is definitely a critical piece that I use all the time. This is our Arc'teryx Squamish hoodie. Really like this hoodie. It's got really good elasticated cuffs and a pretty good little hood. I kind of push this as kind of thin for a wind shell. I would typically probably want to use like an unlined soft shell, but that's what I was using this trip just to try to see how it worked, and it seemed to do just fine. Real breathable, real durable. Wind resistant was pretty good, and it was windy the whole trip. And then finally, the accessories. A pair of Smith Optics sunglasses. These are the Defeat Woolinator gloves. I love these gloves. I've used the heck out of them. I have like 2 or 3 pairs now. I don't know if they're still manufacturing them or not, but they're really good. And then a Smart Wool hat. So now, next let's take a look and see what I keep on the outside of my backpack. So now for things kept on the outside of the pack. This trip I filmed the pack with this little Nikon Coolpix camera. A lot of times I'll put it in this waist belt right here, or in this case, since it was cold out, I wanted to make sure it was working fine. I kept it in the little zippered pocket of my wind shirt. Also, to go with that, on the sternum strap, so I can get to it quickly, I keep this little Joby pod. This works really good. You can set this up on a log or on a rock, and it works good. Or you can also, I had these Black Diamond hiking sticks. You can take this on the top, go like this, and then stick this into the ground, and you got yourself a tripod anywhere you need to go, as long as it's not rock or frozen. But this works pretty well. Also, on the outside of the shoulder strap, I keep my Sunutu core. This is my watch. It tells me time. I got the temperature on it. And I also have it set to barometric pressure readings at night, so I can see if the weather is going to go up or go down, or how the pressure is affecting. I like to keep it on my strap just because if it's on my wrist, it's annoying taking gloves on and off. The pack itself is the GoLite Jam 50. Unfortunately, GoLite's out of business, but there's a lot of other ultralight manufacturers out there that make real similar packs. And this hip belt, I just keep a little easy to get to.
Phoenix E15, which is their LED light with CR123s. I use CR123s in a lot of lights, so that's why I have that. It's just a little tiny backup light. For water bottles, I have this 1 liter hard-sided bottle, Powerade. I like to have a hard-sided bottle because it's a lot easier to fill up from like a running stream versus a platypus. And then also in this pocket, I keep in a lock sack, which is like a heavy-duty Ziploc. I keep my baby wipes and toilet paper, just so I can get to them quick and easy. On this side, I kept a 2 liter platypus just so I was able to dry camp. So I had to be right next to a source of water. I could camp really wherever I needed. If I filled up all 3, I could go a couple miles, easily set up anywhere I needed to. On this really large outside zippered pocket on the Go Light is where I keep my shelter and a few other essentials I get to. I'm in a constant battle between ultralighter and bushcrafter, so the compromise between that is just more HD for this trip, which I did use some for processing stuff for the twig stove, but honestly probably wasn't really needed. Steak bag, got 6 aluminum steaks, and then I cram in here the Go Light Shangri-La 3. Great pyramid mid shelter, protecting me well with all the wind and it's blowing from every direction. I hunkered that thing down. It worked quite well. I was very comfortable inside. So now let's take a look and see what I keep on the inside. So now onto the inside of the pack. One thing to note, this is just what the setup was for this trip. Some of the things would stay the same for other trips, some wouldn't. This is just kind of what worked for this trip. On the inside, I have it divided into 3 kind of categories. I got the stuff I need to get to most often, food, and then sleep stuff. So section number 1 is the stuff I need to get to most. First of all, it is in a trash compactor bag. I like them. They're durable, a lot stronger than a garbage bag to keep everything good and dry. I twist the top and I wedge it down in there and it's good to go. I also use them kind of as an extra ground sheet and for a place to do stuff around camp. At the top, there's 2 things I keep always at the top. One, this is my little Cuban fiber snack pack. So this is where I keep all the snacks for the day. It also has my Aquamira water drops in it, so it's easy, quick to get to. I then kind of keep my essentials pack, which has all kinds of little stuff. I'm going to do a little video on this separately, but this goes anywhere I go. Next up, I also keep my clothes in here. One thing that I was, obviously had a problem with was rain. This is my rain jacket. I finally figured out a good way to keep clothes from going all over the place. Usually I just cram this stuff in here. But take a look, look up Ranger Roll. That's a way the military likes to organize their clothes. So it's a way of folding your clothes. I didn't do a very good job on this jacket, but it's a way you can roll your clothes up into a nice tight compact compartment so they're not flopping all over the place. For my rain jacket on this trip, I used the Arc'teryx Beta AR. Worked great. I was in that rain for 4 or 5, 6 hours, whatever it was, and no leakage, no seepage. The hood was good. Brim's a little floppy, it's a little creased. I need to refix that. But anyways, worked out great. Been using this jacket for a while. Love it. To go with that, I have the rain pants. Somewhere in here. Here we go. So same thing with the rain pants. They match that Arc'teryx rain jacket. I did the Ranger Roll on these 2. They come right undone. They have full-length zips, Gore-Tex Pro Shell. I actually didn't pull these out, surprisingly enough. The rain was pretty much straight down, and those Arc'teryx soft shell pants was good enough to keep my legs dry. They weren't getting wet, but I'm really glad I still have these in case I needed to use them. For insulation purposes, I had 2 pieces. I used this, I think, one morning. This is just a little REI synthetic Primaloft vest. I've had it for a couple years. It's kind of good as just like a real lightweight mid layer. Goes on and off easy. My main kind of insulation piece for this trip was this Kuiu down jacket. Kuiu's an ultralight hunting manufacturer. This is their down jacket. Compacts pretty good, pretty warm. If it's going to be much below 20 on a consistent basis, this is probably not enough insulation. You'd probably be okay, but I feel more comfortable with something a little bit heavier with more downfill. So, also on the insulation from Kuiu, I have these long johns. They're just merino wool. I think they're 185 gram merino wool long johns. Had them for years, worked just fine. Here's a Head Sweats hat. It's like a nylon material versus a cotton, so it dries really quick. Didn't have to use it. The sun wasn't too unbearably bad. And I keep going through here. Didn't use these either, but this is the Arc'teryx Leaf Gore-Tex Pro Shell socks. So I was concerned about rolling into camp, feet completely soaking wet, and wanting to still be able to move around. So what I would have done is, if that would have happened, like you probably would have if I would have stayed off the last day, warm pair of socks, put the Gore-Tex on, then you can still walk around your shoes and your feet stay warm throughout camp. Extra pair of the Woolly Willies. I had a Under Armour balaclava, didn't use it. I have a bandana. I made it up out of an old merino wool shirt. It's got a few holes in it, but it's a lot nicer than a cotton bandana because it dries so much faster than a cotton bandana, and so I used that a couple times just to wipe up stuff. I had this Smart Wool neck gaiter. Didn't use that. Still would probably bring it along. When it was raining really bad, I did break out these gloves. These are a little lightweight soft shell glove from Mountain Hardware. It worked pretty good. I don't know if I'm 100% sold on them. I've used them a few times. Jury's out. And then finally, I have a little Ziploc that's got extra batteries, memory cards, and a little extra spare battery thing for my cell phone. So this worked good. My cell phone was kind of my entertainment. I loaded some articles on there to read while I was out versus bringing a book this time. Let's take a look at food next. Okay, so now working my way down. Next thing I keep is this piece of Reflectix and the blue foam pad. These are just nice to kind of sit and kneel around. I take the Reflectix and put it down, and then it kind of makes a sleeve for this blue foam, so I can take it in and out throughout the day and have a nice little sit area. So that's very helpful. The kind of middle compartment is comprised of sleep stuff. Or I'm sorry, not sleep stuff, but food stuff. So I have my food bag, which I'll show you what I put in here in just a second. But to cook with that, I use this very, very dirty. This is the Evernew 900 titanium pot, and the lid's over there. And Fancy Feast little alcohol stuff, alcohol fuel bottle, titanium spork, and one screen. And that works just fine. I did bring my Vargo titanium wood stove just to play around with, but it wasn't really necessary. So take a look at this video that I shot before I went on the trip of what I put in the food bag. Obviously I didn't eat all of it because I have one extra day of food left in there, but if I was to do the trip again, I'd probably still pack the same exact food. It worked just fine.
Here's all the food for this trip. I got it laid out by day. Here's Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And then the extra stuff. Thursday's a half day, so I got snacks, dinner, after dinner snack. Next day, which would be Friday, breakfast, mid-morning snack, lunch, 2 afternoon snacks, dinner. Dinner's going to be mac and cheese with hot dogs, after dinner snack. And then next day, Saturday, breakfast, mid-morning snack, lunch. Mileage-wise, I'm going to have time to sit down and cook some. So there's pasta and meat sauce with some combos. Afternoon snacks. Dinner is brown rice, ground beef, and vegetables. After dinner snack. And the final day is only half day, so I got breakfast, 2 snacks. And then for the extras, I have drink mix, which is Crystal Light and Hawaiian Punch with some tea, hot chocolate, random trail mix stuff. I keep my toothbrush inside my food sack just because it's the last thing I do before I go to bed, so I just put it in there and it reminds me. Peanut butter, I use that with the Snickers or the Milky Way. I dip it in there just for some extra calories if I want it. Bear bag line, salt, pepper, barbecue seasoning, and butter.
So now on to the final section, which is my sleep gear. This is obviously the stuff I need the very last of the day, so it doesn't need to be near the top. Here's the pull extender for the Shangri-La. I can put the hiking pole on this and use it in the middle. So here's the sleep gear. It too is inside of a trash compactor bag just to make sure it's completely waterproof. If I go like this and twist it down, I know it's not going to leak in there, and it's good and safe. First up, for this trip, since it was going to be under 30, I used the Nero Air X-Therm. Great pad, been using this for, I don't know, about 2 years now. No problems, no punctures, works great. used it at very, very cold temperatures, and it's just fine. Very comfortable too. To go with that, I think this is almost a must, at least for me, is the Exped air pillow. I really like this pillow a lot. I've been using it for a while. You can see it's kind of gross now. It needs a washing. The probably most important part of this whole thing is I use this. This is the Katabatic Gear 15-degree model quilt. Real big fan of quilts. This worked just fine, and I would definitely bring this same exact thing if I was going to go on another trip. I'm going to do a separate review on this. I've now used it for over a year, probably have 30, 35 nights on it, so I feel comfortable in doing a review. I'll put that video up in a couple weeks. And the final thing that kind of goes along with sleep gear is two things. One, this is a down hood, which makes you look ridiculous, but it's very warm and it's very helpful when you have a quilt that has no hood. So that is super helpful. Then I also use this, which is it's like a durable plastic ground cloth, and I use that with the sleep pad. Just a little extra protection, only weighs 2 ounces. Honestly, if I was to do it again, just to add a little bit of temperature rating, I'd probably bring the bivy that goes with this. So I'm going to do a review on the bivy and the Katabatic Gear 15-degree model in a couple weeks. So overall, I really had fun on the trip. The trail is super well marked. There was trail markers every 10 feet. It'd be very difficult to get lost. It wasn't super hilly. There was a few technical kind of difficult parts to walk on over by on the east side where all the lookouts are. That's probably the most challenging part of the trail that I was on. But I still feel confident that it was a smart decision to turn around in that pretty nasty weather. But I'm looking forward to trying to do the trail again. I'm also going to try to put up some review videos of stuff that I've been using now for either 6 months or 30-ish, 40-ish nights out of sleeping that I feel comfortable on. If you want to see anything different in my videos, or you want me to review any of the stuff that I brought out today, let me know, and I can do a review on it if I feel that I've used it a proper enough amount of times to review it. I hope this was helpful. If it's not, let me know. If you want to see something different, let me know. Thanks a lot for watching. Have a great day.